That's the old guy talking.
Jim, can you hear me?
There's that loud noise.
Yeah. We're on the Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
And that's what they're hearing.
Well, I turned my volume down. I don't know why you're getting that. Because I'll have to turn the volume. I have to turn my speaker on. I have to turn my microphone on.
Yeah, mute yourself. I forgot the setting. There's a setting that requires everyone to mute themselves.
Oh.
Oh, please, everyone, mute yourselves.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
I was looking at the van and I was like, oh my god, but then I'll introduce you. It's one of my friend's younger brothers. Got it. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry.
So we have our banks. I said here.
Otherwise, what we could to get out is great. Yeah, it's fair. I don't even know. Are you? That's Mike. That's Mike. Okay, so how would I get access to it? Well, it's going on to our Zoom account. Okay, so I'll give you an access. Okay. Okay. I'm still trying to work out. I'm trouble getting coverage. We did join the other remember those, you know, this was amazing.
Takes a long okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
Something going on.
Oh, it stopped. My God.
Turn it on again.
Test.
They are not sure.
What's going on here? I think my food is under there.
It's very.
It has to do with the pre-sand, pre-something here. This is all pre-PRE-PFL.
Well, we've got everybody on now.
Yeah,
So,
well, everything's fine. I just don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I've always, it always bugs me when something
I know.
happens and I don't know what it is.
yeah. Well, I wonder her microphone was laying right on top of Mike's transponder. Yeah. I think it was just feeding back in itself. Well, she didn't. That's probably right. It's probably because it was against the corner. Yeah.
Welcome to Rotary. Minnesota. I missed you guys last week. I'm so glad to be here. Okay, for our pledge today, I asked our sound man and director of the club administration, John Rusher, to lead us.
Well, put your right hand on your heart and speak these words with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
Thank you. And for our inspiration today, it's Chris Sikas.
Okay, this is a quote from the Dalai Lama. What surprises me most is man, as in mankind, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he doesn't enjoy the present. The result being he doesn't live in the present or the future. He lives as if he's never going to die, and then he dies having never really lived.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. That was great. Okay. We're going to start off with visiting Rotarians. Do we have some visiting Rotarians? I know we do. We've got some really interesting visiting Rotarians that we can have your attention. Jeff Siefkas is going to introduce a couple of people I'd like you to hear about.
Today we have with us John McVeigh and his daughter Tasha. John is with the Rotary Club in Viña del Mar, Chile, which, as you probably didn't know, is a sister club to the Rotary Club in Sausalito. And the reason he's here today is that our club sponsored an international project with his club in Viña del Mar to fund material for a school that handles kids with physical disabilities. So welcome, John, and welcome, Tasha.
It's a pleasure to be here. I think the president of my club was here a few weeks ago, Eduardo Lara. So Eduardo Lara and I basically for the past few years have been working with Rotary Club of Sausalito, primarily Bruce Huff, who I think just left, and ran into a glitch in terms of eligibility from a global grant point of view. Anyhow, subsequently, Bruce brokered with Rotary Club of Novato an agreement to be the international sponsor for the school project that Jeff just referenced in Viña del Mar, Chile, for which we're most appreciative. The funding, my understanding is all the required funding has been raised, and the formal global grant application was submitted on March 3rd. So now basically we're in a wait and see situation. Hopefully, I don't think there's going to be much of a problem because Keith Axtell, in consultation with Bruce Huff and Eduardo Lara from Viña del Mar Norte, they had iterative interaction with the global grant officer for Chile. And so I think this is hopefully just a rubber stamp. Anyhow, it's a pleasure to be here. And I'm amazed at how large this complex is, and also how many members you have. Anyhow, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you. Any other visiting Rotarians? Visiting Rotarians? Okay, then York can't wait to introduce his wife. So now we have guests of Rotarians.
Madam President, fellow Rotarians and guests, my wife Linda.
Any other guests? Patty has a guest.
I have a guest. His name is Jackson Roberts. He works in San Francisco and living in Novato, and wanted to come learn about our club and meet you guys. So feel free to come by and say hi.
Any other guests? Oh, Tom, Ricky has a guest.
Madam President, fellow Rotarians, I'd like to introduce for the third time Jay Magdabay, who submitted his application. It's pending board approval and hopefully will be inducted in the next few weeks.
Welcome, Jay.
Good afternoon, Madam President and fellow Rotarians. I'm delighted today to introduce my friend Joe Bartle. He's with Bartlett Tree Experts.
Okay, any other guests? No other guests? Okay, then we're going to move on. Just a little icebreaker for you guys today. I like this one, actually. What's the best advice you ever received? So share that with each other and we'll get back together at 12:30.
Oh, I'm sure you did. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Got right this time. Yeah, I felt screwed up. Honestly, I just really bad. Like I played over the Oh, yeah. Well, no, it's true, and I was amazing. So much, but it's like, so I guess. That's right. And it's a brand new. I'm done with that. So. All these. Sometimes a couple hours. It's online, so. She said, well, you go tomorrow. Tomorrow. And I'm gonna tell her I'm calling because you might say my friend got burned up. It was also good. Can you imagine that? I'll learn that. Oh. Oh, I see. In all 5 ages of life. It does this.
I love one, to let you know.
Help yourself. Help yourself. We don't want it to go to waste.
Very nice here.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna get started again. Just real quickly, did anybody hear any advice they want to share that they think we should share with this group? Anybody have any good advice? No good advice? Nobody's ever received any good advice? Russ has.
October 17th, 1987. The market went down 22.8%. I walked into a college class and they said, "You predicted this." I said, "Yeah, but I didn't think it was going to be this happen this soon." 2 days later, I'm in the emergency board meeting in San Francisco, and we are stunned. And our 87-year-old senior principal walks in and said, "Yep, the market went down again." And he talked about 1929, 1931, 36, 39, 41, 56, 59, 66. And I came to the business in 69. I can tell you all the story after that. So the best advice I ever got was don't panic.
Thank you. Anybody else have a good one?
Madam President,
Yes.
Diane and I were in the process of buying our very first home. A Rotarian who was the president of Atlantic Financial Savings Bank said to me, "You're much better off getting a 30-year loan and paying it off in 15 instead of getting a 15-year loan and paying it off in wanting to pay it off in 30.
Okay. Anybody else? One more. Anybody else? Carrie, okay, here we go.
It's very simple. The grass is always greener where you water it.
Okay. You go back. Okay, we got it. Okay, as you know, our theme this month is Nevada, and I hope you enjoyed City Hall. Was that good? How many of you? Quite a few? Good, everybody. I want to thank Phil again for taking my place. Phil, I so appreciate it. Is he okay? He didn't get out of line or anything, all right? Okay, I was just checking. Thank you. I'm going to go back there. Thanks, Phil. I appreciate you doing that. Well, in the newsletter, you said that I had something other to do. I went to the PALS training. That's the President-elect Learning Seminar, and I was there all weekend. It's amazing. I just have to tell you, there are over 350 presidents that are getting trained, and does training so inspiring. Because the training is excellent, the presenters are excellent. The best thing is you meet with other people and share information and news. And you know what I came away the most? I am so proud of our club. When I hear what all the other clubs are doing and what the issues are and everything they have, we've got things to do. We can grow, we can learn, we can improve. We're an amazing club. That's what I came away with. So I just want to share that with you all. You should be so proud that you helped make this club, I think, the best club there is. So that's my biased opinion. Okay. Let's do a community care report. Yes. Marty has something.
I talked to Jim Spillman. He's sitting with his phone 24/7 because he had knee replacement surgery and he's fine, but he can't walk too well yet. And I think you also did you get an update on Gloria?
Yes, Gloria has some health issues, but they're being addressed. And so I think she's going to be doing better. She's going to get some treatment and she's got a good attitude. So I just talked to her a couple days ago. So she's doing better. Is there anyone else? I don't think so. Okay. Then let's move on to, you know what time it is. It's birthdays. Birthday.
Madam President, I am over here at the birthday too. I'm here at the birthday table, so what are you gonna do about that?
I'm telling you, there are a couple of people that were supposed to be there. Dave Capranos, his birthday was March 6th. He's not here today. I don't see Alan Dunham, but that was at the wrong time. It's March 16th. And Joy Thurman is March 14th. You should be at the birthday time because there are cookies there. If not, if anybody wants to fake a birthday, there are nice chocolate chip cookies over there. So Dave Capranos, Alan Dunham, Keith Axtell isn't here today. Is he? What?
We need another.
He's not at the table too. He's
He's
not
not
at the birthday table. Shit, Keith, you can take extra cookies for your visitors, Keith, and share them with them because they're here. And Brad Williams, Steve Gerard is not, and Debbie. I guess, Brad, I want to know what you're doing for your birthday.
Here.
Thank you. I have a couple of goals. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little louder.
So my 78th birthday is coming up on March 16th, Monday. And I set a goal to hit 1,000 classes with Orange Theory. And if I make it till Monday, I will have completed that goal. Sunday morning, my bride has set up a bruncheon at 29er Diner in Petaluma for a gathering. And the weekend will be filled with grandchildren's plays, softball, soccer, football, baseball.
Sounds like a good birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
For you. And Joy, what about you? Joy, how are you enjoying your birthday? She's right there.
I know, I was gonna say, we have one who's resisting her birthday today. She didn't want to sit at the table. She said, but Joy, happy birthday.
Okay, so March 14th. Apparently, I did not get the brains of Einstein, who was born on March 14th, or the basketball skills of Steph Curry. And I still am open to any kind of genetic like streaming.
Yeah.
But I'm going on an urban safari tomorrow with my kids.
All right.
And I think it's going to be the SMART train up north to the last station, which is Windsor. Yeah, Windsor, just to check it out. And then hopefully the return will happen too. Okay, that's it. That's my.
Sounds like a good birthday. Okay, thank you. All right. What's next? Wedding anniversaries. Mrs. here? No. McDills are probably celebrating their 63rd somewhere. But on Zoom is. Can you take it off me? He's there. I just want to wish you a very, very 72 years, folks. Then there he is. Can you try taking it off?
Can you hear me, Lynn?
We have any sound? No. I'm sorry, the sound is not coming through. But what we're anxious to know is it's 72 years. First of all, you live. But how do you stay? That's impressive. 72 years. Congratulations to you and your bride.
Thank you. If you can hear me, thank you very much.
Okay. Let's go. All right, we have anniversary, membership anniversaries. Frank Bruno, 31 years. Marcia's here, 26 years. Congratulations. Phil Doherty, 24 years as a Rotarian. Gloria, 18 years. Ron Hanna, 16. Is Ron here? No. Larry Mazzata, 11 years. Sean Campus, 9. John Chrisman, 8. Peter Plavin, 4 years. Congratulations. Jeff Savitz is here, 3 years. Eliza Ressler, 2 years. Jackie Lee, 2 years. Patty Doherty and Beth Rowett, 1 year. Okay, let's do announcements. Who has announcements? How's that? Good.
So Jim asked me to take on a new project, a community service project, which is why I'm here and trying to imitate him. I hope his ears are burning right now. If you saw Phil's bulletin, next about 2 weeks, we've got a new community service project to do 11 more utility boxes. The city has asked us to do this because last year, the 7 boxes we did turned out incredibly well. If you've had an opportunity to look at any of them. Anyway, I put together a sign up genius. It was in the bulletin. We need people to help and come out. It begins March 30th. We're going to have to do it the entire week. Hopefully we'll get it done before all 5 days. So it's March 30th through April 3rd. We're meeting at Redwood Boulevard and Olive Avenue at 9 o'clock, Monday, March 30th, to get a little bit of training on how to do it if you've never done it before. And then you're going to be put into teams, and they're all over Novato this time. It's not just the core of Grand Avenue, which is what it was last year. Good news. I looked at all of the utility boxes today. They are not as difficult as the one at Dr. Insomniac's. If any of you had worked on that one last year, it had stickers all over it, and to scrape those off, it took hours. I've looked at them today and they look pretty clean. So we probably will get done a lot earlier than expected. So please sign up.
Just one more thing. Painting the artistry work on the utility boxes.
Thank you.
Yes, it's perfect timing. So anyway, but also another thing, it's free on Tuesday, April 7th. There'll be more bricklaying at City Hall. You know where City Hall is. You were just there. So yeah, if 1:30 on Tuesday the 7th. They couldn't make it on a Friday this year. The city couldn't do that. So they came up with Tuesday the 7th at 1:30. So please show up.
President Lynn, fellow travelers, I have a list. March 31st, I have a community service project, which is much more fun than painting, I'll tell you. More fun. And it's a shorter time frame. We're going to meet over at the North Marin Community Center on Novato Boulevard, which is just north of Lady of Loretto School on the left-hand side. We're going to be giving away food for 270 families in Novato. So we're going to meet the first group. There'll be 2 groups. The first group will be meet at 9 o'clock at the location where we're going to unload the food and distribute it into packages ready for delivery. The other second group will meet at 1:30 to help distribute the food to the 270 families. This is an excellent time for Red Badgers to get involved in a project for the club. It's not terrible work, and it's a short time frame. The 8 o'clock group should be done by about 10:30. Is that right, Larry? Around 10:30, 11 o'clock? Okay. You're going to be finished about, oh, he didn't hear. Okay, forget it. The second group is from 1:30 till about 3 o'clock. Oh, 9:30? Oh, never mind. 9:30. But we want you there by 9. I think it's 9. I think it's 9. Forget about it. So we'll go back again, 9 o'clock in the morning to help take off the food, distribute it in bags. It'll take to about 11:30. Second group, 1:30, will be finished around 3, and we'll do a good service for our club. If you haven't signed up, I got 3 people to sign up. I need about 3 or 4 more for each segment. I'm on the roster. Email me, call me, text me. Thank you. And if you want to sign up for both projects, you can decide for yourself which one's best.
I have a challenge for this club. Next week is the district assembly where we honor Peter as our president-elect. And as many of you can go, we want to be there to support him. The record in this club is 44 members showing up at a district assembly. We have a bonus this year you have not heard about. Besides the great speakers and the workshops and a great barbecue put on by Foster City, at 12:30 in the library, past district governor Rashish Harris from the Yukon is flying in, and our polio committee for the district is paying for him to come down. He was one of the top speakers at the international convention in Calgary, and I see Mark nodding his head over there. This man is a serious polio survivor. I'm one of the lucky ones. But Rashish is not to be missed. So plan on coming to the assembly. You got to go to district5150.org and sign up. It's free. Our club pays for it. Great program, supporting Peter, great food. And I think you're going to be extremely pleased that you took the time to meet Rashish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jackie Lee. I am the founder and executive director for Hates on the Rise, a nonprofit right here in Novato. I'm here to invite you to our 11th annual gala fundraiser and auction that will benefit a two-story building high school that we are building for the kids in Haiti, and also provide more than 150 scholarships to the children every year. This evening, the evening is gonna be right here in San Francisco on Golf and Gary at the St. Mary's Cathedral Event Center. It's a very nice facility, and the evening is gonna be great to have a lot of abundant hors d'oeuvres and main course that authentically from the Caribbean, French cuisine. It's gonna be really fun, and then we have good music, and then we showcase a lot of good things about Haiti and what we do. So you're not gonna miss it if you come. It's really a very nice, exciting evening, a lot of camaraderie, a lot of friendship. It's really good. So if you're interested to know more, I have some card. You can reach out to me after we're done. Oh, sorry. The date is Saturday, April 11th. Saturday, April 11th from 5 to 9. From 5 to 9. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have three quick things to share with you that are all good. Speaking of the district assembly, right now our club has the most people so far represented. We have 30 people signed up. If 44 is the record, it'd be fun to break that. But right now we do have the most representation. So that's fantastic and it is wonderful. So please attend. Secondly, that's good news. We got listed again in the Journal they have the Reader's Choice Awards. We once again are the service club, top service club. So we won the Rotary Club of Nevada as the top service club for the Marin IJ Reader's Choice. So that's an honor. We're very happy about that. And the other thing I want to share today that's really good, where's Brad Williams? Do you want to mention that the endowment has changed the percentage? The endowment board met recently and they voted to increase the percentage that's shared with the club from 4%. You know, in the past, it's been 4% of our endowment goes back to the club each year. Given rising costs and everything else, that was generously agreed to increase that to 5%. That's huge, folks. And Brad, I don't know if you want to say anything. It's a decision. They spent a lot of time studying it. They looked into it. It still preserves our capital. Our funds will grow. help us offset, for example, the food costs have gone up and all the costs that are going up. So that's a huge benefit for our club. So our service committees will have a few more funds next year. You want to say anything or? Okay, well, so that's good news. The IJ is good news. The district assembly, you have a lot of good news. So one of the other things that to me is always good news is the induction of a new member. And so today we're going to, if Randall will come, Tom Ricky. And Randall's sponsor, Jackie Lee.
Yeah, General. Yeah, General. Well, that's, I think they,
I won't be too crazy.
Yes.
All right. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. I have the privilege of welcoming a new member into our Rotary family. Randall is far from being a stranger. He's about to join us, obviously, as the newest member of our club. His sponsor is his wife, Jackie, who's been a member, as you know, for a couple years. Today is a great day for Randall to be inducted. First of all, it's the 13th of March, obviously, and you were born on the 13th of a different month, I believe August. So that's kind of special. And also, as you saw before, one of Lynn's slides is Jackie celebrating her 2-year anniversary with the club. So great timing. Randall, as you know, Rotary is a worldwide network of members committed to service above self. His application was very impressive, and I'm going to bring up a couple of the points. In fact, that motto is very important to you because you mentioned it a couple of times in your application. Rotary has over 1.4 million members in over 200 countries spanning the globe. Throughout history, Rotary has worked to improve the lives of others that are less fortunate. We are very proud of the many great accomplishments that Rotary has accomplished over the last couple of years, including our global fight, as Russ mentioned before, to eradicate polio through Polio Plus. Since 1985, we have immunized millions of children to try to eliminate this devastating disease. We're down to a handful of cases. Hopefully, the end is near. Rotary also supports a multitude of other projects, such as putting together clean water systems in underdeveloped areas, fighting disease, protecting the environment, and improving literacy. Impressive as that may seem, another strength of Rotary is what we do here locally. We believe even the smallest acts of service, when multiplied by over 1 million members, can change the world. Here's the other thing you mentioned in your application. You said you'd like to apply the 4-way test to both your business and personal life. Very impressive. And another reason I think he's going to be a great member for this club. Membership in Rotary carries both an honor and also responsibilities. We ask you to actively participate in our projects and support both this club and Rotary International. Simply put, you've heard this before, you're going to get out of Rotary whatever you want to put into it. We're looking forward to your enthusiasm and ideas, Randall. I'd like to present you with your red badge. Here's a packet of information, including a checklist of tasks you'll need to do to get qualified for your blue badge. Here's a few gifts for the club as a new member. And last and most importantly, would everybody please stand and welcome the newest important and most important member to Rotary Club of Nevada.
Congratulations. All right. I love it when we induct new members, and Randall's going to be a huge asset. That's wonderful. Okay, next we're going to get to know another member better because it's time for featured Rotarian. And our featured Rotarian today is Evan Blacksey. And Evan, you don't have your picture in Club Runner, so we're going to have to take care of that.
I was tamping yesterday. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but that's where you take a big flat piece of metal and you throw it down on the dirt so you can build on it. So I'm a little out of it today, but anyway, I've got some stuff written down here. I don't have a slideshow because this is just my 5-minute introduction here. I'm Evan Blacksey. Let me see here. Yeah, so I create digital surrogates. I'm do some editing. A digital surrogate is a true and accurate representation of an original copy, and we have a grading system for that. It's a federal agency's digitization guideline initiative. They have an international one as well. It's a standardizational organization, and if you ever see those, basically I digitize and back up your old photographs and videos and things. So if anybody in the club has old stuff that is collecting cobwebs, it does degrade over time. So you can always shoot me an email and we can get that done dirt cheap for you because it's important. There's only 100 members here, a little over 100. It's important that everybody has their family's memories backed up and things like that. A little bit about me. Let me see here. I never really saw my parents together. They did their own thing. I have 7 grandparents. They all fought in the war. So if anybody didn't get enough of that at home, I've got stories for you. Let me see here. During high school, I took a job managing a local memorabilia shop in Marin, and started taking all my classes at the college around here. I always loved starting new projects and businesses. So this is really, I'm happy to be here. I'm glad Mike brought me in. Having all these projects to choose from is just like heaven. It's always fun to start something. I was told growing up, if there's always enough time to do a job right, never enough time to do a job twice. And so I've tried to, when I travel around the country, looking for new things to get involved in, try to set things up so they get done and you can move on to the next thing. And so I have a lot of fun with that. And I hope to have a lot of fun with that. So let me see. My mother started a little company in the 70s called Zero Graphic. They sold toner, copy toner. And so just cutting edge stuff all the way around, try to keep it. I learned from my past there. My father and I started a foreclosure company back in 91. He passed in 95 up on 37. So we were involved with the state getting the guide rail built. Can't tell you too much about the case, but we did get the guideline, the guide rail built. So that's it used to be I think they called it a suicide alley. But anyway, we handled the local contracts for Fannie Mae, Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter before they merged many companies. But we also handled a railroad contract from way back in the 1800s, and our client made quite a bit of money, but so did the government. I found out being a part of that, and that's something that I just thought I'd share with you guys because nobody really remembers how much money the government makes off of the railroads and the land patents and things. And so never let them get you down. Tell them we're broke because we've made lots and lots. So we're doing good. I take my word for it. Let me see here. I'm a first generation American. My father was born in Haifa, Israel. Well, it wasn't Israel yet. And my my grandfather was Polish, but he had moved to moved to the area, Haifa, to marry my grandmother, who was a pilot. And they were on the same ship. She was on his ship. And after the war, it's a little remembered fact, but they weren't allowed to come back in the country because they had fought. So they came over, my father, Nine, and his sister came over on a boat to Queens, and my grandfather passed away. But my grandmother opened a barbershop in Queens. And so my father remembered he was very young when his father passed away, but I'm Evan Ari Blacksey. My father was Amos Ari Blacksey. And so, like I said, all 7 of my grandparents fought in the war. So I got stories. Let me see here. Anything else? Yeah, for a brief time, I traveled around the country quite a bit. I had a ticket broker, so I love venues from all over the country. I used to sell tickets before Ticketmaster put me out of business. All of us out of business, if you remember the scene. And so if you wherever city you're in, always remember to check out the local venues and support your arts. So I appreciate it very much, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much. I'm Evan Blacksey.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now for our speaker today, I'm very happy to announce that we're having Mike Morrissey, who's going to talk about project fairs in Western Africa. But let me tell you a little bit about Mike. Mike, and I'm going to read this because it's so well written. Born in the United States, Michael Morrissey was initially drawn to Paris in the early 1970s. Trekking to Kathmandu, he found himself driving the magic bus with an increasing involvement in photography as a way of capturing in an instant that which could never be explained in words. As a landscape architect, the master of many trades, Michael lived in Brunei, Malaysia, Taiwan, Thailand, and Japan, where he co-founded Refugees International. In Thailand, he worked developing refugee camps. After creating several real estate management companies in Bangkok, Mike focused on his passions, travel and photography. An inveterate global traveler with a penchant for discovering off the beaten paths, Michael has experienced moments of terror and peace, sadness touched by joy, acquiring a deeper sense of connectedness present among people and cultures, and a deep respect for the poignant, majestic yet fragile natural world. After joining Rotary, his traveling transitioned to traveling with a purpose. The one thing I knew about Mike is that he would travel to countries, but I didn't know how many, so I asked him. Michael's been to 110 countries. That's amazing. That makes him about the 1,500th most traveled person in the world. So it's our honor today to hear from our own member, who's been a member of the club for about 12 years, Michael Morrissey.
What? Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna use this. Hi, let's go to the sound check. Is that working? No. Is it working now? Can you hear back there? No, really loud, I think. Okay, I'll keep talking. So, how many of you have been to Togo? Oh, Togo. I'm not going to talk about that Togo. And hold on a second. So that red slip is Togo, and it's bound by Ghana to the west, Burkina Faso to the north, and Benin on the east. Its background is it was a German colony until the end of World War I. The Germany lost control. Then England and France took over the area. They kind of worked more around the sides of it.
And Toto ended up, there was no name as Toto ran, what was left over. So it has this odd configuration of 75 miles of shoreline and 250 miles north-south. Um, um, about it. So, for example, the government, when it became independent in 1960, a family, and I'm going to look it up, the Nyan Fung Bay family, he was a general, and he ran the country, he had a coup and ran the country until around 1960 when his son took over, and he is now the president. So it's been a dynasty, and that's not so uncommon. How are you doing? Okay. And that's not so uncommon in Africa to have long-term leaders, as it were. So the first thing we did, and this trip was organized by Brett Howard, who was here a couple of weeks ago, and he does a great job of organizing. This is the third trip I've been on with him. I first went to Nigeria about 5 years ago, and then Ghana the year before last, and then to Togo last November. And the first thing, we got to playing around when you're with Brett. It's all very serious, but we does slip in a couple of things. So the first thing we did the first morning was we went to a voodoo fetish market, and it was horrible. It was just all these animal skin, bones, etc. But the worst part was the smell. And the thing, I mean, we understand Buddhism very well, but Buddhism is really the worship of ancestors. So during the time that it was a colony, the European countries forbid it. It was an underground religion and such. And then when the general took over, they opened it up, and Buddhism and Christianity overlap each other. Like they coexist. I'll get through this kind of quick. In every stall, what's happening now? In every stall that we went to, the persons always said the same thing, that no animals were harmed in getting into this place. That it means they didn't kill them. They were either roadkill or died of natural causes. Okay, there we go. So it was an unusual place to go to. I was also in Nigeria. It's not a very happy, it was a horrible way to start the trip, I think is what I'd put it. Japan was intrigued by this. So we got taken into a back shack somewhere, and we got the whole spiel, and all of the Togolese money that I had was spent on things that have appeared under my pillow since we've been back. I don't know what that's about. So the next thing we did, was this embassy, and we did a briefing. Rotary has a good relationship in that part of the world with the embassies. So we go to the embassy, and there is no ambassador. There's no ambassador for most of the countries in this region under our current government. So there's a charge d'affaires. And when we were there, it was during the shutdown, the government shutdown. So it was really amazing. This is the power of Rotary. We were in there, that was when we got inside, it was really quiet. Like there was a guard, he took us to the ambassador's office, and then we had this meeting with this charge d'affaires and a woman that ran USAID. And he started by saying, he may not know this, but the embassy's been closed. But he said, my father was a Rotarian. He lived in Madison, Wisconsin. And he said, I've got a soft spot for Rotary, so I've opened up the embassy for you. Power of Rotary. So we proceeded to tell us have two functions at the embassy. We're there to provide visas for Togolese students to study in America and the USAID program. But we don't give visas to anybody in this part of the world now. So that person lost their job. And the other woman that was there, she runs what's left of USAID. So all she does is try to find other NGOs, and she works a lot with UNICEF to try to pick up the work that USAID does. The next trip was to, that's a mistake. This is UNICEF. So there we had 6 people make a presentation of all the work that UNICEF does. And even there, Rotary and UNICEF work fairly closely together as well. And the thing we learned there was and together on school, water, and sanitation and scholarships.
So it was a lot of information to be absorbed after being 30 hours on a plane. And it's 90 degrees outside, but we were in there for that. And the last thing we did in the afternoon is we went to the Ministry of Health. Dr. Dare, who's a doctor, he's a professor at the medical school, and he's a Minister of Health. And he brought in about 6 people and told us about all the things they're trying to do, but the government provides them with little money. But most importantly, humanitarian. And so he's able to direct projects towards the Rotary clubs there. We talked about this a couple of times. One of the biggest problems, not only here, but in this region, are toilets in schools and a lack of fresh water. And so that's what they're concentrating on. The biggest problem health-wise is malaria. And the quick solution to that is mosquito netting, but people can't afford it. So on the next thing we did was we went to visit a newly constructed health clinic. So we drove out of town, we drove for about 2 hours. And as we drove through the city and started heading out of town, one of the things you notice is commerce is all on the side of the road. There are no franchise there. There's one exception that I'll show you in a minute. There's no McDonald's, no Starbucks. There's just markets everywhere. And on the way, we stopped at this market. And it was really interesting to walk around and watch what was going on. This was quite a bit of time there. And what the see was that this is just a market. I mean, first thing that occurred to me, I said, this is the Cheers bar. Because people don't just walk by and walk away. They sit there, there's an exchange between the buyer and the seller. This is their Google, this is their Facebook. This whole other dimension takes place in these markets. And then I was comparing it to my experience at Costco. So you go to Costco, you get a cart, and the only people I encounter is when I bump into them with my cart. Because I'm normally running around to find out where they put the nuts this week. It's desk over the checkout, there's nobody there. This is kind of the heartbeat of Togo. It was fabulous. So continued on, it's everything you can imagine that you need. It's literally, and they love color and fabrics. So you'll see in these women dress very well and very colorfully there. And we'll also get to how to get the fish. So, there's one franchise. It's a well-kept secret. Right, so these people have a motorcycle. All the motorcycles there are Chinese, and these little tuk-tuks from India, and I think this version is from China. You have to get where they ride around in those things. And here are the motorcycles. The sad thing is they have the highest mortality rate of motorcycles per capita in the world. So this is the guy who put this together wasn't there. So the background is a little bit shaky. What we understood was that the guy that created this was first a Rotarian. He was also a Baptist minister, and he had an affiliation with a church in America. And the church in America gave him the funding to build this place. This is very new. They've only had like 2 patients by the time we visited it. And it's a fabulous facility to have out in the countryside. It's not in the city. And this is again, the biggest problem is safe fresh water. They had a well, a holding tank, and these 3 women lived in that little building in the back, and their job was to keep the pumps running and water in the hospital. Here's the bigger problem, the schools. This school has about 300 students in it, and those are their toilets. Just 2 stalls, and there's no running water. It's just a hole in the ground. Between the 3 countries, I've probably seen 20 schools like this. So the Rotary comes in, and they're providing the money for the raw material, and Rotarians and the parents are building these latrines. That's the president of the Rotary Club. He's also the president of the bank. And he was out there building the blocks as well. These are the clients.
This day was a student teacher day, so the school wasn't in session, so the kids of some of the parents and the teachers were there. That's a typical classroom, no PCs. And this is a Rotary playground at that school. All this equipment was provided by the Rotary Club. The next one was we went down to the beach. So we said that's 75 miles. There's a highway that runs parallel to it. It was just a continuous row of restaurants, clubs, under these coconut trees. The problem is the ecological problem that Togo has is erosion. They're losing their beach area, and this used to all be covered with coconut trees. So we've got this program of planting coconut trees on the beach. That's what the rows that you see to the right there. And we did it. There's Brad, I think. And we planted 26 coconut trees. So it was a hands-on experience. Even what's her name got involved here? Jacqueline got involved here, and Evan, and I was there too. And I'd seen this before. As we go over the shoreline, there's these groups of people in line, and they're net fishing. And so after we finished planting the trees, I ran over and took a bunch of photos of this, but I'm just going to show you one. So they're a fishermen's co-op. And what they do is they hire a canoe. It drags the netting perpendicular out, and then it circles around and drives all the fish into the netting, which are salmon and the other small fish, mackerel maybe. And then all these people have to pull it in, and it's full of thousands of fish. They sort out the fish and get rid of the jellyfish, and immediately goes to the market. By the end of the day, they get paid for their day's labor. This was a polio event, which for me was the high point of these trips. So we went to the general hospital, the maternity ward, and we went in. It was where the children were brought to get the polio vaccine. And I don't see a kid in the back, but he's really bug-eyed. And that's how all the little kids, when we come in, we look different, and we scare them, which is unfortunate. And so that's good. I have lots of bug-eyed kids from this trip. So, I mean, it was a thrill just getting amongst all the mothers and the babies and administering that vaccination. It's something we should be proud of. So I talked to this family, they could speak English. And the thing that I came away with was they were so grateful. And they were talking about, how dangerous polio is. And they feel they're really grateful to Rotary for what they do in saving their kids' lives. So another plus for Rotary. And then there are lots of these things around. You'll see photo ops. And these are the mothers waiting their turn. More frightened children. So when we come to our meeting, we have greeters out here. Ron and Suzanne down there greeters. Well, when we come to the West African Fair, these are the greeters. They're dancing, shaking hands, and wearing their costumes. It's exciting. So there are about 50 clubs that are represented at this particular fair. In contrast, the first one I went to was in Nigeria. There were over 200, but after COVID, it's died back a bit. So, what I do, but going back to Costco, so when I go to these, there's just rows and columns of these booth signups. So what I've learned to do is, I kind of do it like when I go, it's a car show, not Costco, is that you go around, you look at all the cars, and then you decide which ones you want to learn more about, and you go back there, and that's what I do. And so I picked out a couple of things that stuck out to me. One was there were library projects. This one was kind of cool. They have a lot of containers come in, but very little product goes out of Togo. So when you go to the port, there's stacks and stacks of these abandoned cargo containers. So this group is taking the containers and turning them into libraries. And think about it, no construction, they're free, waterproof, and lockable. So what they do is raising money to buy books and put bookshelves in there, and they're secure, and they're doing that around the country. This one was a shocker. And I've spoiled Holly. I've not told her about this project. I'm on the World Community Services, and the idea is I bring back projects for us to consider to support. Now, this was brilliant. It's a STEM project, science, technology, engineering, and math. And it's a project where the kids build the little cart there. It's remotely controlled. And they want to introduce a STEM program throughout the country. So we started digging into some of the details, but when they got to the costs that they needed to do this, I quickly moved on to the next one. It was $800,000 they were looking for. Let me know if you want. Yeah. So it was really a worthwhile project, but it's such a leap from what you saw in that classroom to this kind of technology. There's a lot of growth that's got to take place before they can make this transition, but it's a wonderful program. Then this was another library project that was in Ghana. And these people were looking just to raise money to put books in this existing library in schools where the shelves are all bare. And just to prove I was there. And there is a funny phenomenon that I didn't figure it out on the Nigerian one, but I'd be walking around by myself looking, taking this, and all of a sudden, two girls would come up on the other side, lock their arms, and they would just start walking me away and taking me to their booth. And these were like cheerleaders. I mean, it works. These were the cheerleaders, but. And this one is about water. And it's, like I said, the biggest need is for potable water, safe water, because so many diseases are transferred by water. And the problem is that it's pretty expensive to do. Just to do one school's, it has to have a well, a holding tank, and ideally is to have 10 stalled toilets. It runs between $9,000 to $12,000 a school, and there are hundreds and hundreds of schools that need these. And I'm talking with some people that are there. My thought was maybe the economy of scale where you could hire a well drilling company rather than have individual wells done, give a contract and go out and do 20 or more wells at a time, maybe one possibility. And the other, when I worked for the UN, we had these pre-made latrines that were self-contained and had a primary and secondary treatment. So I'm going to pursue that. But I think the problem is that there's too much money that's needed for that. So by this time, I started looking at these projects, and I looked at how much money I spent for that 30-hour ride. And I kept looking at, I could have paid for a number of these projects. So I started feeling really bad about how stupid that was of me to do that. But on the other hand, better if I hadn't gone there. And I don't think sitting in a Zoom meeting is as convincing as when you go out and look at these projects in the field. So I sort of rationalized my behavior. And I finally, I had to write this. What the project fair does, it presents ideas that can transform communities and projects and form partnerships. And our presence validates their effort, them with a sense of being something larger than themselves. And that's, I said, when I first had the thought, it was different because it was kind of egotistical in a way. It's like, because I'm there, they get to talk about what they did. Well, I don't have the money to support that, but it's not about the money. It's giving them that sense of accomplishment and acknowledgement, and they really do appreciate it when we're there. So how am I doing time-wise?
If you have questions.
I want to do one thing because we did something. So two things. So by Saturday, we spent all afternoon. Brad presented. Pearl, who is the trustee of the Rotary International, was there. She gave a talk about the conversation was about what the sources are of money that could be gotten from Rotary and how you go about doing that. Because one of the problems we found was, like the 800,000 one, they were way out of the ballpark on that. And so it was kind of what Keith does for us in talking about the district grants, or global grants rather. And it was really informative. And if we can get it, it'd be well worth watching. So going back to Ghana, when I was there, we identified this was a project, and Brad talked about it. And that was the guy, the Rotarian, that had a fishing hut on the shoreline. And he'd gone off with a farmer and walked through a field, and the farmer got bitten on the finger. And he had, it was bitten by a snake, but if he hadn't got cared for within 2 hours, he would have died. And so the guy, knowing that, cut off his finger. So the Rotarian that was there looked at it and said, realized that there wasn't any medical facility within 2 hours of this community. So he went back and wrote this clinic back in the year 2000. It's a fully functioning clinic, but also behind it, there will be dormitories for 6 nurses and a doctor and his wife. They're there all the time. The problem was all these young babies that are being brought in after they gave birth there were being subjected to tuberculosis and who knows what else was going on, because it's a relatively small, compact area. It's not air conditioned, just ceiling fans. And so they made an ask for, the doctor did, for a neonatal clinic. They wouldn't have to bring the babies into it. And this is the ribbon cutting. And there it is. And we contributed to this. Our World Community Service Committee, and with a couple other clubs there. And it was opened up just recently. And there it is functioning. So now the babies don't have to go into that enclosed area. They're out, it's open air, fresh air, and they can get their vaccines, polio as well, and get treated. And the nice spin-off of that was the neighbors were so appreciative, they got money together and they bought us a baby scale for weighing them. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions for Mike? No questions.
Good.
Okay.
We have one question.
Percentage of USA funds are we able, or were they able in Togo to supplement what the government allowed to come into the government? Percentage of the funds that NSAID would usually give to Togo, could they supplement with their other sources?
The talking had only been there a month, and she was just starting to identify. She first had to get her hand on her mind around what was needed and what USAID was doing. So I couldn't answer that question. So that if anybody's going to be able to do it, she's the right person. She was very dedicated to finding the sources to make this happen. Typically, USAID provides a lot of engineering services, medical. They work on water projects and education. I'm sure there was millions of dollars were lost there.
Okay, one more quick question.
Does the World Community Services Committee participate with the DDF funds to operate this project?
This one here?
Yes.
No.
No? Okay.
It wasn't. It was all done under the $30,000 minimum.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. It's interesting. It's amazing. What?
Oh. All we have for state.
So, Mike, you said, if I understood correctly, at the end, somebody met with them to talk about their global grants and how they could work better. Did somebody explain to them they could break that $800,000 project into something that's actually doable?
Yes.
That did happen.
They did talk about that. And they talked about various levels. Part of that conversation was break it into smaller projects, spread it out over a longer period of time. I should be working on it. Yeah, I'm working. So,
okay, well, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. Read your Wednesday bulletin to see what's coming up. Do me a favor. Does anybody have 7387? I'm gonna draw again. Nobody has 7387? Okay. We're gonna draw again then. Okay, another number, Roy. Because we're gonna draw again for the raffle. Unless 7387 shows up here. Okay, the next winner is 7355. 7355. Linda. Is that 7355? Okay, you're the winner. All right, thank you all. We'll see you all next week. We have a Great Institute, the new museum. Speakers will be there. So the meeting is adjourned. At $25. Just for showing up. All right. You're gonna be ready for next week.
I was just looking where I'll be standing.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.